All right, we call this board meeting to order on March 27th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. Can I get roll call, please?
Falls you have here.
Mays here.
Jesus here.
Brianna Texoni here.
Mask on here. Everything good for the agenda?
Yes, sir. There are no changes to the agenda. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to move the agenda in?
I'll move.
Call the question? Mays, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mask on, aye. Do we have any public participation at this?
Not at this time.
All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn to closed session?
I'll move.
I'll second. Call the question?
Falls you have aye.
Mays, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mask on, aye. PM. Dr. Reyna, would you lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Falsgrave, would you please read the civility statement?
When conducting the district's business, we will strive to communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and to maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you very much. Report of action taken in closed session. No action was taken in closed session. Public comments, recognition, and reports.
At this time, we don't have any public comments. We do not have recognition or reports. Thank you.
Correspondence. ADA representative. CSAE representative. Student representative to the board.
Good evening, everyone. Today, I want to start with Vasquez High School. Some highlights for Vasquez High School. On March 20th, students had the opportunity to visit Cal Lutheran College. Students have reported that they enjoyed learning about the athletic opportunities, their international academic program, and their athletic medicine program. Some upcoming events for Vasquez. Some of our students will be helping in the Acton Library tomorrow, as connecting with the community is always a big priority for our students. We have a field trip coming up on April 1st to the Antelope Valley College that our students are very excited about. ASB and the senior class are holding a car show on April 12th to fundraise for our senior class, and we hope that the community is excited for it, and we are very excited for the event as well. Some athletic updates. Swim season is going well, and students practice every morning from 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. We had our first medley relay recently and placed 4th. They are competing against large teams, but putting in a lot of work. Track has broken 4 records in the first 3 meets. For the girls, Ivy Rios broke the 2-mile record and was part of the distance medley relay record. Also on the distance medley team were Maisie Wershing, Riley Larson, and Haley Honeke. Riley Rios and Alexis Van Ornum broke the 4x800 record, while Ivy and Riley Larson and Vivian Schneider both tied for the high jump record. The boys smashed the distance medley record by Cole Steve, Blake Mascon, Ben Hegum, and Austin Helton. Boys varsity volleyball is first place in the league of 10-0 in games. Next home game is on April 10th at 4 p.m. Softball is also on track to win another league title this year. We just started our league game played this week. We won 15-0 against Santa Clarita Christian, and our next game is coming up this Saturday against Hart. Baseball is 8-1 and is competing for a playoff spot. Moving on to High Desert, some Hawk highlights. Miss Lily Sanchez is a great support to the students and teachers that she works with. She runs small groups encouraging active play and has great rapport with the students. We are so grateful for her support on our campus. Brantley Milton is always showing amazing compassion and understanding for his classmates. He is a big team player in ASB and showed great kindness to another student who was feeling lonely. Mr. Beaumont and Seth Beaumont, we are so grateful for the passion and interest in technology that Seth shows. His dad, Mr. Beaumont, connected with the company to get 4 3D printers donated to High Desert. We are so excited for our students to build their creativity and knowledge as they see their projects come to life. Thank you to Mr. Beaumont and Seth. Another shout out to Mrs. Heather Campbell. Mrs. Heather stepped up in a big way supporting Arts Day. Her bright smile, great rapport, and commitment made the day possible. Some past events for the Hawks. The Hawks Family STEAM Night event was a great opportunity to explore, create, and discover through hands-on activities with our Hawks families. Activities included ice cream making, a cosmic scavenger hunt, egg drop challenge, marshmallow towers, roller coaster building, foil boat engineering, Pringle ring structures, and glow-in-the-dark paint night. Thank you to the HDS teachers for making this night possible, and thank you to Mrs. McWilson, our art teacher, for the paint night. Thank you to Booster Club for the snack bar and Hernandez for tacos for the delicious meal. Arts Exploration Day was this past Wednesday. HDA hosted this day, and this great event helped our students explore all forms of art, including music, dance, various painting mediums, comedic art, culinary art, and even tattoo art. Thank you to Miss Owens and Mrs. Wagner for supporting our High Desert Hawks and bringing the Mustangs to mentor and lead sessions in art and culinary arts. Great events like this are possible in our amazing little town. Some upcoming events for the Hawks. Outdoor Science School is from April 7th to the 10th for fifth grade students. Thank you to Mrs. Reveles and Mrs. Higdon for attending with our students. Thank you to Mrs. Bonola for supporting and teaching the students who are remaining on campus for the week. HDS Music and Talent Night, they invite you to join them on April 11th at 6 p.m. It will be a great night highlighting the amazing talents of our students and watching our 5th and 6th grade students perform with Miss Emma. The 4th grade roadshow is coming up very soon, and High Desert looks forward to welcoming the 4th grade Meadowlarks as they come and tour the campus and learn more about what it means to be a future Hawk. We look forward to seeing them on campus on April 17th. Some athletic updates. JV flag football and JV girls volleyball. The teams have been formed and had their first game today. Varsity boys and girls soccer's championships were on March 17th. Our girls soccer team finished in second place and the boys soccer team finished in third place. Thank you to our coaches, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Prosser, Mr. Rivas, and Mr. Jake Van Ornum, and Mr. Anthony Sines for supporting our students in a great season. Thank you to Vasquez High School and their maintenance staff for the incredible support and allowing us to host on their field. Varsity basketball teams have been formed and games start next week. And that is all for my report this evening.
Thank you very much. Superintendent's report.
All right. Tonight, I'm excited to share goals 1 through 4 from our strategic plan. Goal 1 tonight, I want to go ahead and share. On Tuesday, we had a very successful 2-hour scheduled visit by Mr. Paul Journet with the United States Marine Corps. He represents the operations and instructional piece of the Marine JROTC program. They are looking to start up only 5 programs for the upcoming school year, fall 25-26. We provided him a tour of Vasquez, observed some classes, and spoke to students. He was very impressed with our campus and our students, of course, no doubt. Next steps in the process, Mr. Journet will be submitting a request for approval to the Secretary of Defense Office for final authorization. We were informed that we should hear back in the next few weeks. Given that we anticipate approval, and he did tell me, you can mention anticipated approval, an interest list is being worked on by the Vasquez High School counseling team and Dr. Smith. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for being part of that observation and that visit. This offering only expands the multiple pathway offerings we have for our students. I'm beyond thrilled, and this is a great opportunity for students and a huge draw for our district. More to come. Arts Day 2025 was held yesterday at High Desert. We had an abundance of exciting workshops, including air dry clay, anime drawing, floral art, watercolor. These are only a few examples. Oh, and there was a comedy improv workshop led by Vasquez teacher, Miss Carrie Owens, who happened to pull me and Principal Van Ornum to play out a skit. Needless to say, I won't be giving up my day job to move into acting. So that was fantastic. Thank you to staff who worked tirelessly behind the scenes for months to put this together. To our community members, volunteers, for your dedication and support. Great job. I believe this is the 3rd year for Arts Day. Well done, everybody. Goal 2, effective instruction. This past Monday, we had our district PD for both certificated and classified staff. Topics for the day were thoughtfully planned. Many of the workshops were presented by our very own staff. Topics included ELD practices, best practices, iReady, cultural competency, emergency preparedness, NCI, which stands for Nonviolent Crisis Intervention Training for our special education IAs. So thank you to the PD committee for their planning efforts, as always. Goal 3, community engagement. Friends of the Acton Agua Dulce Library. Huge thank you to them for their generosity. This Saturday and Sunday, they have opened up their doors to the library to our teachers for free books for their classroom library. Thank you for your awesome partnership. We appreciate what you do for us. Goal 4, student safety and connectedness. National School Social Work Week, that's a mouthful, is held the first full calendar week in March. With that said, I congratulate our dynamic We Care team of social workers on their much-deserved recognition for the vital role that they play to provide students, administrators, what they provide students, administrators, teachers, educators, and parents. The team provides direct mental health therapy to students, which includes face-to-face therapeutic sessions and in-group sessions. They also provide training to all of our district staff on mental health and wellness education. Thank you, team, for supporting students and overcoming challenges, ensuring that they thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Congratulations. And this concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Marisco.
Thank you. Comments? Ken? I guess I'm the only one that's unbelievably excited about a Marine Corps ROTC program coming to our school. That'll be fantastic. So thank you for the efforts on that. Yeah, for sure. That's good. That's amazing. Facilities and Finance Subcommittee report.
On March 18th, we had our Facilities and Finance Committee sub-meeting. We talked about cost control software, which would, for ASB, which would bring us back into the 20th century from where we are now, to be able to write checks through the computers, a lot more control of data, and a lot easier for the people to use. We also talked about backup power proposals and getting proposals for all the schools at this point. And then we talked about the community needs facility survey. And I think that's just about ready to go out, right? So everybody should be seeing that shortly. Do you have anything?
Thank you very much. Education Subcommittee report.
Okay, during our recent education subcommittee meeting, we had a great and insightful discussion on strategies to improve attendance. Our focus was on developing reasonable, effective goals and identifying best practices that can be implemented across all school sites. One of the key topics we discussed was whether absenteeism is more prevalent at certain school sites or within specific age groups, and what factors may be contributing to those trends. We also examined common barriers to attendance, such as transportation challenges, parental involvement, and student engagement, and how we can better support our schools in addressing these issues. Additionally, we explored how online attendance is being tracked for virtual learners and ensuring that they remain engaged and accountable. As we move forward, we will continue to review attendance data, identifying successful site-based initiatives, and looking for ways to support and scale effective strategies district-wide. Our goal remains the same, of course, to foster a culture where students feel supported, engaged, and present in their education. That is all for my report.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being prepared with the report. I really appreciate that because I am not prepared with a report. But I would like to add that we also talked about short-term independent study and the ed code, switching that from minimum 5 days to minimum 3 days. And now the minimum is 1 day, where if students are going to be out for just 1 day, parents can sign the independent study contract and students can actually get attendance credit which is exactly the same as if they were sitting in their seat in class, as long as they fill out the contract and complete the assigned work. We talked about how to make that readily available to parents and how we can assist office staff in making that easier to make it available to parents and updating the short-term independent study contract. So there's a couple things that we need to work on as a district to make that easier for parents, and then also getting that information out so that parents are clearing those absences and getting them short-term independent study to where they're not counted as absent. I think that would really help our ADA.
Policy and Management Subcommittee report.
Okay, I'll take that one too. At the recent board meeting for our Policy and Management Committee, we reviewed the new SCBA guidelines regarding student cell phone use. This discussion took place under the Policy 5131, which is student conduct. And it focuses on mobile devices, including phones and smartwatches, and how it impacts classroom learning, student behavior, and overall campus safety. Some of the key concerns that were addressed include instructional distractions, misuse of the devices, and of course, the need for consistent enforcement across all school sites. Looking ahead, the committee is going to be discussing the district's sexual harassment policy at our next meeting to ensure alignment with current laws, best practices, and the district's commitment to a safe and respectful learning environment. Again, I encourage all community members to watch the recorded board meetings at their convenience to stay informed about school policies and key topics that affect, of course, our schools and our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Submissions.
There are no submissions this evening. Thanks.
Item 8, consent agenda. Eric?
I'll move it in.
Call the question. No,
You don't have anything?
you have any comments?
If I may, sure, got the right items. 8, G and H. If I can make a comment there, trustees?
Please.
Thank you again to our wonderful Acton Women's Club, one of my favorites. 2 grant applications were granted. One for the California Weekly Explorer, grant amount $1,618 for our 5th graders at High Desert to go ahead and go through an experience of a hands-on history experience through the American Revolution. That's really awesome. And the second one, Vasquez High School, a guest speaker, Jesse Clark Funk grant for $3,980. Again, from the Acton Women's Club. Thank you. The funding provides a workshop for our Vasquez students around making good choices and bullying prevention. Big shout out to the Acton Women's Club. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Eric. Call the question, consent agenda.
DeJoyan, I.
Mays, aye.
Yes, Susai.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mask on, aye. Number 9, personnel action report. Can I get a motion?
I motion.
I'll second.
There are no, sorry about that, Mr. Mascon. No changes to the personnel report for this evening. Thank you.
Discussion? Call the question.
DeJoyan, I.
Mays, aye.
Yes, Susai.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mask on, aye. Number 10, student and education services. Get a motion?
I'll second.
Dr. Saget?
Thank you. So 10A Agreement, School Inc. As part of the mental health supports through our U.S. Department of Education grant and through our trauma-informed lens, we are looking to secure Ms. Kelly Wood for a series of staff workshops, starting with a kickoff on April 2nd staff meeting, which piggybacks with a staff appreciation barbecue on April 2nd. This workshop includes the purpose behind yoga and mindfulness, seated and standing exercises that could be done in the classroom to help with the self-regulation of students. This will be for our staff on Wednesday, and then more to come because this is a series of workshops. Once again, the amount of $3,600 is grant funded. Thank you.
Discussion? Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Mazak.
Jesus, I.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Mask on, aye. Item 10, Student and Education Services. Agreement,
I'll second.
agreement for School Inc. not to exceed 3,600. Oh, that's right. Item 11, Business Services. Approval for expanded learning opportunities, school year 25-26 contracts.
I'll move.
There you
I'll second.
go. Dr. Sakin.
Thank you. For items 11A and B, our approval request for expanded learning opportunities contract. This is for our after-school study days program. I'll defer to Mr. Nguyen to go ahead and share some details for both contracts, one for the full fiscal year of 25-26, and the second item, 11B, for the summer months. Mr. Nguyen.
$4,504.50 per seat. The only difference between this contract and the current contract for this year is that they increased the seats from 8 seats to 100 seats. And also for the summer school is for 30 days and the same dollar amount, which is $4,504.50 per seat. But however, in the event if we only have 75 students, they will only charge us for 75 students, but it gives them flexibility to go up to 100 seats.
Discussion? Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Mazak.
Jesus, I.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Mask on, aye. Do we need to discuss B as well, or is that? Okay. Approval of expanded learning opportunities, ELP contract, non-school days 25-26.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion? Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Mazak.
Jesus, I.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Mask on, aye. Subject C, J13A, school closure due to no water at Vasquez High School, March 11th, 2025.
I'll move it in.
Dr. Sakin?
Sure. Mr. Nguyen, do you want to go ahead and discuss J13A?
Enough water going to restrooms, so we have to shut the water down and school closed. We're going to submit a G13A to get funding for that day for that deadline. And Ms. Smith sent out email to the community, you can use that as a.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyen. Discussion? Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Mazak.
Jesus, I.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Mask on, aye. Item 12, legacy and policy discussion. Subject A, first read, board policy and administrative regulation for 5144.1, suspension and expulsion, due process, first read. You move that in?
Yes, thank you. No, just a first read.
Yep.
Thank you, President Mascon. Please bear with me. There's some updated language per CSBA, which includes suspension authority shall be used only when other means of correction have failed with the student in question. In addition, on-campus suspension guidelines have varied in the new language as attached to our board agenda. Also, students may be expelled only by the school board, and due process guidelines within the new policy have been updated.
Thank you, Dr. Sakian. Subject B, looks like the same thing, 5144.2.
This one is suspension and expulsion due process, students with disabilities. This policy is being updated with new language to support students identified as an individual with a disability, which includes sections such as a manifest determination as well as due process.
Discussion?
I have a couple of discussion points for both items A and B. We had a very robust discussion in the Policy and Management Subcommittee. First, starting off with an overview of how policies are developed, updated, and enforced. And then we zoomed in very deeply with the lawyer. I asked him some theoreticals about like, anything from how manifest determination hearings are necessary and the exposures that staff and administrators and even board members would have when they exceed the limits of their privilege. There are certain things that come with being a police officer, a judge, a publicly elected official. And when you exceed those limits and go off out on your own and start doing things, the board can determine that you are outside of the protection of the board and not only refuse to defend you, but turn around and assume that you will be personally liable for any damages that would arise of the case. I don't want to put the chair on the spot, but I think maybe he could make a comment that we were serious about what that meant. When we discussed this in the subcommittee on how serious you can find yourself in trouble when you start getting over involved in the suspension, expulsion, and due process regulations, as well as dealing with students with disabilities. I think we discussed that very thoroughly.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I have. Thank you.
Dr. DeJesus, care to provide further comment on that?
No.
Subject C, first read, board policy and administrative regulation for 3230, federal grant funds, first read.
Thank you. This is an all-new policy being introduced, which covers the lawful expenditure of federal discretionary grant funds, such as reporting guidelines and our fiduciary responsibilities as a school district. Thank you.
Discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on. Subject D, second read and adoption, board policy and administrative regulation for 3515.5, sex offender notification. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Dr. Saki?
Thank you. As shared in terms of highlights at our last board meeting on March 13th, some of the amended language includes district's cooperation with law enforcement and our response efforts when notified about sex offenders residing within district boundaries.
Discussion? Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Mays, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mascon, aye. Subject E, second read and adoption, board policy and administrative regulation for 1250, visitors and outsiders.
I'll second.
Dr. Saki?
Thank you. Few highlights of the amended language once again includes any person who's not a student or staff member will need to register immediately at the front office upon entering our campuses. Any visitor on campus will behave in an orderly manner while on school grounds. Thank you.
Discussion?
I think I was abundantly clear at what my expectations are for anyone, regardless if you're a board member, any visitor, whoever you are. You have no right to enter a classroom. You have no right to bypass the Raptor system. Each and every visitor will adhere to this policy. I think I was very clear about that, and I didn't hear any objection about that from anyone. Is there anyone objects to that at all, anywhere in the whole world? Thank you.
Sounds like a great idea. Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Walsgraf, aye.
Mays, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mascon, aye. Subject F, second read, board policy and administrative regulation for 6158, independent study.
Thank you. Quite a few updates here. Mainly minimal instructional minutes required for independent study, evaluating whether independent study is a viable option for a student before signing an agreement or that recommendation, because it is volunteer, and tiered re-engagement strategies for independent study students if they are disengaged. Thank you.
Discussion? Does this include the new language Ms. Texoni mentioned with the single day?
With the updates,
Yeah.
yes.
I just want to expand on that again. I mean, it's a great opportunity for parents specifically. If you need to pull your kid out for a single day, you want to keep him on track or him or her on track in school and be able to get their work done It's really, you can do a single day independent study. It's fantastic. Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Waltrip, aye.
Mays, aye.
Jesus, I.
Mascon, aye. Second read and adoption, board policy and administrative regulation for 6163.4, student use of technology. Dr. Sack.
I'll second.
Thank you. Here too, we have plenty of updates, which includes notification to students, parents, and staff about authorized use of district technology. District may monitor student use of technology within the jurisdiction of the district. If a student violates board policy on technology use, district may cancel student user privileges.
Discussion? No comment? Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Waltrip, aye.
Mays, aye.
Jesus, I.
Mascon, aye. We'll note that Natalie voted for this. Subject H, second read and adoption, board policy and administrative regulation for 4040, employee use of technology. Dr. Sackett.
Thank you. Some language to highlight here. Employees shall review all prohibited and permitted use of technology as outlined in this policy. Artificial intelligence language such as employees may use AI apps to assist in duties and professional development as deemed appropriate.
Discussion? Call the question.
DeJillian, I.
Waltrip, aye.
Mays, aye.
Jesus, I.
Mascon, aye. Board comments, Mr. Faltzko.
I'd like to say that I would like to thank Student Rep. DeJillian for her excellent report on student success. That's the only thing that I'm concerned with up here. I'd like to read something from you from a book called The Greatest Thing in the World by Henry Drummond. And if we try to influence or elevate others, we shall soon see that success is in proportion to their belief of our belief in them. For the respect of another is the first restoration of the self-respect a man has lost. Our idea of what he is becomes to him the hope and pattern of what he may become. Thank you.
All right. I don't have much other than glad the sports teams are doing good and looking forward to the end of the year festivities.
I'll keep mine brief. Thanks everybody for coming, people who joined online, and I also want to thank the Acton Women's Club for their generous donation to our students.
I would like to thank the businesses and the committees that continue to support our students. Really pay attention to those who sponsor our kids, sponsor our sports teams, and not just at our schools, but also local ones. I know Sierra Youth Sports has a ton of sponsors this year. Really pay attention to those and support the businesses that support our kids. Like Acton Women's Club, their resale shop is fantastic. So go in and support them like they support our kids, our students tremendously. I was able to go to the class of 2025 fundraiser at La Cabana. Always a good time, always fun to see kids and families getting out and having a great time together. So thank you, La Cabana, for always being willing to do fundraisers for our youth. I also got to spend some time at Meadowlark yesterday. I got a tour of the makerspace while students were in there. It was very cool to see a class going on in there. And I would just like to do a shout out to Mrs. Jones for making it a priority to have a teacher in that classroom. She said they're there 3 days a week. That's huge. So thank you to her for making that a priority in her budget to make that happen. I think that's it.
Thank you very much. If you haven't been to a La Cabana fundraiser night, you really have to go. It's always a good time. So if you haven't been, you're missing out. Again, I wanted to reiterate how excited I am about getting an ROTC program. So hopefully there's no hiccups in that, but I really think it offers a huge opportunity for our kids. Just if your eye is on college and you're not sure how to get there, the ROTC program will get you there. It'll be it's a full ride scholarship through ROTC, and you'll learn a trade, become an officer, get paid well. It's a good deal. So very excited about that. And again, just always happy to be part of the community and part of what goes on here. Thank you. Calendar. Are there any conflicts on the calendar for anyone for the next March 27th, April 10th,
Today is March 27th.
April 10th, March 8th, May 8th, April 10th, May 8th, May 22nd?
I may not be here on April 10th, so there's a game.
Thank you for that.
There's also another Lockabanya night on April 10th, throwing it out.
We start advertising those more. Item 15, future agenda items. We have the High Desert School presentation, Vasquez High School presentation, and the quarterly strategic plan report coming up. Any discussion on those items? No? With that, I'd like to suggest we adjourn at 7:46 PM. Call the question?
DeJillian, I.
Paul, drop by.
Mays, aye.
Jesse, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Mask on, aye.